believe that marriage has been weaponized in Western Christianity. Giving has been weaponized in Western Christianity. Sexuality has been weaponized. For example, any woman listening to this can attest in our culture. Don't be no 30, 35-year-old single black woman and go to the family reunion. All the older women are going to do them. They're going to look at you and wonder why you were not married.
Where your man at? Where your kids at?
Like it's a prerequisite for identity and value that if you don't have a man, if you don't have kids, that something about you is broken. Do you understand how dysfunctional these messages are? You can be single and be used by God. You can be single and have purpose. Being married is not a prerequisite for God's hand on your life. It is not, but we've weaponized it. And crucify people when those same marriages fail.
And I do want to, it didn't come up. Shoot. I want to read this super chat. Oh, I already read it. Never mind. Okay. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think what Kirk Franklin says, marriage, giving, and sexuality have been weaponized in Western Christianity? It's crazy how we're talking about church. So it fits right into what we're talking about, what y'all are talking about.
I mean, he's not wrong when he talks about the shaming at the cookout and things like that. I mean, I know that happens for sure. 30 plus, single lady. You know, they know you're having sex, so why aren't you taken? I mean, that's true.
I'm giving y'all an opportunity to get y'all thoughts off. Y'all don't want to talk.
Well, I've been married for 26 years, so that'll tell you what I think. But I don't think a single person is not useful. I mean, I just don't think that. What you talking about, those fucked up parents creating these fucked up kids is fucking up the marriage population today. So I still know single people that have contributed greatly to society. So there's that.
I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't paying attention, so I don't know what he said. So if you want to give me a cliff note, then I might be able to give, but I'm just be honest. I told y'all what I was doing off screen.
People are still useful. Single people without children can still be used by God, is what he was saying. And I believe that. Do y'all not believe that? Anybody here?
What could they be used by? What could they be used for? I'm not saying that I agree or disagree. I'm just trying to understand what you're saying.
I mean, well, I for one believe that this earth that we live upon is the devil's playground, which is what the scriptures say. So I don't think God really cares a lot about a lot of the things that go on that we care about. I believe he cares about our souls and our spirits and us living right to get to him. So and that's why he gives us free choice on earth to see if we man enough to make it to him. So be used by God as a single person. I think you could be used in this world and be productive and successful. But anybody that's putting good out, Christ-like attributes into the world, I feel is being used by God.
Well, let me give you a little bit more context. So some of the other things that he was saying in that stream or in that clip was that, for example, like let's just say, for example, somebody joins into the church or they joins into the ministry, but they single, right? Or you know, people feeling like they have to get married in order to qualify themselves for certain positions in ministry or stuff like that. That's some of the context that he was using as an example to illustrate the point that he was saying that, you know, single people, or it's not a prerequisite to get married in order to qualify yourself to be able to speak on certain things or participate in certain functions, or that the church itself in a lot of ways was shaming people, which is a toxic behavior when it comes to holding people accountable for not being married. That's additional context.
Yeah, we can't shame people to get married or marry faster, because then they make the wrong decision, marriage doesn't work out, and then we're
I absolutely think you should shame people to get married.
Shame people into marriage. You don't think that'll force them a little bit too fast to make the wrong decision, and now we create a, let's say, child in a toxic environment, we circle back, square one, divorce, we're both single again? I mean, shaming.
Well, I'll give you an example. One of the things that we was taught when we were growing up in my family was, listen, if you're gonna be sitting there playing that game, let's use the women for example. Oh, you want to have a boyfriend, huh? So you think that you're gonna be out here having sex and sinning? Listen, either you gonna marry him or you leave him alone. But you're not gonna be out here fucking. because you're not of the world, and we got different standards of what it is that y'all think that it's going to play out. So I have literal cousins, because I don't have no sisters. I got 3 brothers. Cousins, they got married at 18, 19, 20 years old, and they're still married today. Because there was no, listen, if you're going to be out here doing what you want to do, then yeah, absolutely we're going to hold you accountable and we're going to shame you. Because you're not supposed to, in our family, our women, they were told that you cannot have sex before marriage. And it prevented a lot of the problems that we see happening in the community today. And so we like to frame it by saying shaming, but in reality, the truth is that we're holding people accountable for their actions. And so you can't be out here, we used to call it shacking up. You wasn't going to be shacking up. You wasn't going to be living with no random man. You wasn't going to be out here getting pregnant. You was going, if you want to have sex, and this is largely what it was told, if you was out here and you wanted to go have sex, then you're going to have it within the confines of marriage. And so they absolutely, in the words of how it is that y'all operated, shamed people for doing things that they wasn't supposed to do. You wasn't going to walk in and just feel comfortable and just be walking in with a new man and stuff like that. That's not, that didn't fly at all. It don't fly today.
Yeah, I'm not saying be single and wild out and then still feel like you're used by God in whatever other way. Like, so I agree with that.
Like, you wasn't going to be flaming and be leading choir service.
So,
Lena, you mean STD?
When somebody's supposed to get married? So how do I get married? Do I, like, how long am I dating for? How long am I dating for?
We didn't believe in dating.
So you found your wife and just got married?
I knew my wife since high school.
Okay. So
we met her in the 9th grade.
So, but you got married when you were legally able to get married?
I got married when I was 22 years old.
So did you date? Were you single? Was she single?
Didn't date her, and she was a virgin.
Oh, wow. That's what's up. Okay.
My brothers got married earlier than me.
Man, I'm following you on all social media because, wow, you is the first person I've ever heard all of these viewpoints from. I really got to do.
This is a fact.
We had a 52-year-old virgin on here last week.
Yeah, he was weird though. That was different.
Stop. No, don't do that.
But I know y'all
tell me why he don't got box.
But I've been married for 13 years to a man. I like men, but I'm also on the spectrum. So
and
yes,
she's married. So you
yes,
can't
I'm married,
What do you mean by you're on the spectrum? Like,
she's married.
I'm on the alphabet crew. That's why I say you could click me out of the religious aspect because I don't qualify.
No, listen. I believe in respecting everybody. I may not agree with different people's life choices, but that doesn't mean that I don't respect them for what it is that they do in life, or that I think that they should be deprived of anything or an opportunity and all of that. I absolutely respect everybody. Now, because we on a panel, I'm gonna debate passionately, what my position is on whatever subject that we talking about. But I'm not going, we've had all kind of people up on this panel. I think last week, it was a guy that was on the panel that was 100%.
I'm being sarcastic.
So I might have a difference of opinion,
she's
but it
not
doesn't.
Gay, y'all. She's joking.
No, I'm like, we don't know each other, so I'm definitely like, I'm gonna speak on anything if I have a viewpoint. I don't give a when anybody.
No. I'm just saying that a lot of people may take my views be extreme or whatever, but it doesn't mean that I don't respect you as a person or as a human being.
That's what's up. I appreciate hearing that. Yeah.
But just to make the point, I absolutely believe in shaming. I think that people today are too comfortable doing the stuff that we know and that they know. You don't have to be a believer or a church person to know that you shouldn't be a 3-time baby mama. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to be involved in spirituality to know that you shouldn't kill somebody.
Yeah.
Like, it's just certain things that's universal.
So I do believe in shaming, but shaming into marriage is what I was saying may be detrimental just because.
I think that shaming should happen across the board because what we define as shaming is just holding somebody accountable. You're not going to be comfortable just walking in and doing what you want to do and walking in with size 12 shoes, because I think that the people largely in society that got the biggest microphones are the ones that's the worst for the community. They're the worst for society. We celebrate the worst things for us, and we put down the people that then start to stand up and say what up. That's why we celebrate rappers so much. That's why Meg Thee Stallion can twerk in front of us when we supposed to be having a conversation about policies.
Anton, can I ask you a question? You said we should shame all across the board, like for any matter, right? We should just shame.
I'm saying that what shame is.
I like when you said hold accountable. That make it come over a little better, Anton. When you said we should hold people accountable.
Go ahead. I want to let her get her thought off. Go ahead, Jazz.
No, because I have recently saw one of your videos, and it was in regards to politics, and I guess the video you were reviewing was shaming Republicans or whatever. And the first thing you said was shaming is dead. Shaming it that shit is over with. So I guess my question is,
I don't remember what video you're referring to, but okay.
I'll find it. I had just recently watched it, but I was surprised that you had said that, because you are really gun-ho about shaming people, shaming women.
I think I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah. So do you think that shaming we there are certain things we should shame and certain things we shouldn't? Or is it all across the board? Why are there some things you think we should shame?
No,
shaming is there.
What you referring to is a video where I was saying that you can't shame me into voting for somebody based off of identity politics and saying that I'm off code as a black person because I'm not voting for them just because they're black or because they're a woman. Cool. I'm saying that shaming in that context with regard to the community is dead, because now I believe in being a free thinker. And I say it all the time that I don't even care if you vote Democrat. And I said it earlier today. Only thing I'm saying is, because everybody got different reasons for how it should apply to their life. You may be in a portion of your life. One of the people that I supported was Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang was a Democrat, right? And the reason that I liked him wasn't because I actually agreed with his whole socialist movement of giving everybody $2,000, but because I never thought that would ever pass through other parts of legislation for it to even be relevant anyway. But I actually supported his idea and what he understood the technology to be and how it was going to disrupt and play a bigger role in our economy, right? And so the only thing that I ask people to do is be informed. Mm-hmm. You're not gonna shame me for saying that I'm gonna vote a different way because I'm black.
Right. Okay.
I can't control. I can't control what color that I'm born. And so I'm not going to line myself purely off of something that you can't control either.
Okay. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of politics. I was just bringing up.
Well, that was the reason why I said it. So
yeah, okay,
to answer your question, I think that, listen, it's almost like, to make it simpler from a C student's perspective, it's like peer pressure when you go into school. You're not going to shame me to do something that I don't want to do when I know y'all wrong. You see what I'm saying? Like,
okay, can we stop right
there? A lot of people that got peer pressure into doing shit that they wasn't supposed to do.
Correct. And so my question is, how is that no different into shaming someone into marriage when they are not ready, just because that's how you feel about the situation?
Because
how does shaming help?
Because that's the way,
how does it?
That's the environment that we live in as far as how we raise our children. And we know based off of data and statistics that you have a much less likely chance to go to jail. You have a much greater chance of having a successful family and children. You have a much greater chance of making more money. You have a lesser chance of having to need therapy, and so on and so forth. Because statistically speaking, you being raised in a 2-parent married household is much better for children and communities than not. So I don't even have to depend on my opinion. I could just depend on data and statistics, is that having sex out of wedlock and having children out of wedlock is bad for society, bad for the community, and bad for you. So of course I'm going to shame you.
Okay, Pastor, but the thing you don't sin.
No, he's a saint.
He's not.
I'm a saint.
Oh, all right, because I don't know who I'm speaking to. So you a saint and you don't sin. So
yeah. He does no wrong ever.
Okay, my bad.
We all sin. We all sin.
You sin.
But my question is this: you're saying that we should shame single people into marriage, right? What if I'm a single virgin
No,
woman?
not single people in the marriage. Single people that want to do married people things that's ultimately going to turn into a bad thing. And listen, if you're a single person and you just minding your business, you taking care of business, you on top of things, I have no problem with that whatsoever. If you
Okay.
are a single person that's then a baby mama that's trying to have another kid by another dude that you know ain't good for you, then it's probably you need some accountability.
Okay, sure.
No,
No,
for sure.
I
Yeah,
totally
yeah,
get that.
yeah.
I'm just saying,
It's not just because you're single.
I guess I was just piggybacking off of Jason. If we are shaming young people to get married right away, is that really setting them up for a successful marriage?
Absolutely.
When they can I finish before you respond, love?
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
So
I don't know about that.
how are we saying if you don't do it by this time with this person right now, before they even know who they are to even give into a marriage, male or female, how does that help? Because what we want ultimately is to enter a marriage and to stay married. If we're shaming people, right, then now there's this pressure, this society, they said I gotta have this by
I
this
have to do
time.
that. I have to
Let
do
me
it.
just
Yeah, no,
let me
that's
just
not
go
good.
and find somebody so that my family and society doesn't shame me. Now I'm in this relationship with someone that I barely know just to appease other people's opinions of where I should be. Now I'm in a marriage that I really don't know how to to be in. I really don't know anything about being a wife because I wasn't given the time to figure out life or go through experiences to better know myself to be a good wife. Or for a man, they should also be given that same grace. So my question is, if we're shaming people when they are not ready, how does that help with the marriage when once they get into the marriage? As Kirk Franklin said, they discover they're not ready and then they end up in divorce. And now we're
Yeah.
back to
That's not traditionally what happens. People that get married earlier tend to stay married longer. They build together. They have a vested interest in people being each other being
Are
successful.
they shamed into getting married earlier? Because I'm just saying how you get into it will increase the chances of you guys
Listen, if
ending.
you want to get down to the brass tacks of it, or we want to talk the fluff part.
I mean,
You can go in
we
deeper.
understand your stance.
Because all y'all listen, what you missing out on? All y'all do is jump into a whole phase, fuck up your life, can't unsee the person that you've been with, and then bring that into a future relationship and trauma.
Yeah, I think that happens on both sides of the
No, it
spectrum.
doesn't. It doesn't. It
Can
doesn't.
okay, can I ask something? So, to play devil's advocate, right? Do we not come from a culture where there was arranged marriages?
Which is probably what we should go back to if you want.
Correct. Right. So we here now, right? And we live here in this United States. So I always speak from that viewpoint. But if we talking on this level, I believe we should go back to that too. I believe that if you have a good foundation as a good mama and a good daddy, that good mama and good daddy should have the know-withal to be able to have good conversations with another good mama and good daddy and their children if they're being raised under this. I believe that, especially with the pool that we have now and the fact that I believe in legacy building and I would want my kids to be able to continue the legacy and stuff. I would love to be in that situation, right? But how can we get back to that thought process in our communities if we don't believe or know where we came from when it comes to those thought processes?
You're asking the same question you asked before. I'm telling you that you got to throw the whole culture away.
I was going to say that it goes back to what Anton was saying with curing at
It
the
ain't no
source.
different answer. It's the same.
But it's got to be a point when we can jump in and start implementing it. So how can we jump in?
You keep trying to save something that's already corrupt. You keep trying to put the genie back in the bottle. It's over for most of these people. It's over. You have to divest yourself from it, save yourself, and align yourself with people that's going in the direction that you're going in. I'm not trying to convince nobody to do nothing that had already made up their mind that they're going to do it. I'm going to be the example of what I would want to see in my community. I'm going to leave this earth in a better space had I not been here. I'm going to be the man that I would want my daughter to marry. And then ultimately, I'm going to find my niche and my community is going to attract themselves to me. I'm not trying to be a part of these fucked up people. I'm not trying to remix them and fix them. They're going to have to see my light and see how I live my life, which is why I live it like an open book, and then make a decision of whether or not they want to associate themselves with it.
I love that.
It's better over here. I'm not trying to convince nobody.
No, I love that. And that's leading by example, which excludes shaming people into doing what you think is right. I love what you just said. I think that actually is like a better approach.
Oh no, I'm
Yeah.
still gonna kick ass the whole time.
Okay. Okay.
You know I'm an equal accountability smoke giver. I'm always gonna be kicking ass.
I mean, no, I understand that, but what
With the destruction, with the
just in my
destruction of the
opinion,
culture.
just in my opinion, what you just said about being the type of person, basically being the change you want to see, that's leading by example, and that's showing people like, hey, this is how he's moving, this is the results that he's getting. Let me go ahead and assimilate to that, as opposed to condemning on people who are not there yet and shaming them and forcing them into a lifestyle that they're just not ready to hold themselves accountable enough for to even be a part of. So,
But we
Yeah, I'm
need
not saying you should
everybody
be.
to play their part. So we need Pastor Daniels in this world. We also need Vix, and we also need everybody on this panel's viewpoint, because I believe that you can save some people, and I don't discount them, because in the Bible, they
But she
love.
wasn't a believer.
So I'm in the streets and grassroots because I believe in that type of change. But we also need people that represent what needs to be right, or like you said, the saint in the light, to still be a representation of seeing that. But people can still get helped at the same time. I don't feel like everybody's a lost cause, but I do believe, like a system, there's always going to be poor people and middle class and rich and extremely rich, because that's how this is going to work. But we want to be able to shorten the gap of these individuals in these classes and where we are. So I just, I don't know. That's, I think
Yeah, I wasn't.
is we okay to do that. I don't think everybody's a lost cause.
yeah, and it's so interesting when I hear you say that, Anton, because you call yourself the saint. You are Christ-like, but you don't align with anything that Christ
Now,
actually.
don't I? Do you even know what a saint
Well,
is?
because you say things like "F the community," I'm not here to help you, help yourself. That wasn't the way of the Lord at all whatsoever.
How do you know?
Donnie McClurkin said, "A saying is just a sin."
Wasn't Donnie McClurkin sleeping with men?
Because I thought that's what.
Wait, wasn't Donnie
I
McClurkin
but
sleeping
it's
with men
okay.
though?
I
don't think Christ ever said "fuck them kids."
Yes,
Christ
he did. He
actually
went in and listen. Let me tell you something. Jesus was a menace. He was
Fucking
Also, he was
diabolical.
also a single man that
He was
impacted lives.
absolutely a menace,
Mary
and
was
and
a
the
single
people that
mother.
and the people that did not align with him feared him. And more importantly, there's many adjectives to describe God. God said that I'm a jealous God.
Yeah, but
Right?
that's not what we're talking about right now. We're
Well,
talking
you
about being
want me
in
to talk about the
community.
word, and you keep talking about what Jesus said. I'll tell you who Jesus was,
Right?
and I'll tell you who Paul was.
Okay, relax. Okay, what I'm asking you is this:
And I'll tell you who David was, and I'll tell you who Solomon was, and I'll tell you who all of these people were.
your Bible. Are you saying that Jesus did not help people who could do nothing for them?
Jesus allowed for people to help themselves, and there's plenty of people and plenty
Are
of
you
examples.
saying that Jesus never helped people that could not?
And there's plenty of people and plenty of examples where Jesus gave people the option to be a part of the healing. He gave people the option. It's people, listen, there's plenty of people that came up to him, and there's plenty of parables where people, man walked up to him and said, "Hey, listen, how can I follow you?" And he gave them the option to do so. Right? Jesus associated himself with people that he knew was going to trade against them in order to teach a lesson. And he went into the temple, and he went into the church, and he absolutely turned over all of the tables. He regularly jousted with the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Like, he was not what y'all think that he is and that he's painted in the media. Y'all need to go read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John and understand exactly who Jesus was. He was different.
No,
He did flip them tables. He did flip them tables. So he did flip them tables.
Y'all don't know who he was. He really was that dude. He played no games at all.
And that's why
he chastised his disciples a lot of times. He dealt with them.
Yeah, we can express ourselves, right? Because he flipped them fucking tables. He flipping tables.
So, you know, y'all keep talking about what Jesus ain't. Okay.
I mean, listen, I thought, Jesus was here to teach us, humility and to love thy neighbor and to,
Love thy neighbor as thyself. First, love thyself, and then love thy neighbor as thyself, because you don't do nothing against yourself to harm yourself.
so you're
And
saying
you
that
can
we
then love
shouldn't
your
be.
neighbor.
But who you supposed to love like? What's
Listen,
agape love?
if we gonna quote the word, and those were things that was expressed in the New Testament, then we got to express it correctly.
What's agape love? Agape love.
Jesus
Dear
never spoke
Christ,
about
I'm crying
agape
out.
love.
Okay, so there's
that's a y'all thing. That's not a word thing.
okay. So we're not supposed to love like Christ loves.
No,
But
because
y'all
No.
from
don't know
his
who. But
point
y'all
of
don't wait,
view,
wait, wait. But
Christ
y'all
didn't
don't
really
know who
love.
Christ was. So how can y'all? That's why the
But
word
you
says
know,
in everything you do, get understanding. You got to understand why he did the things that he did, and not just quote specific scriptures. You got to read the before, after, and the understanding of it. Really, like if people understood who Paul was, then Paul was one of the biggest persecutor of the saints before God dealt with him. Right? God seen his spirit and he turned that around. If people understood what David went through, what Job went through, and all of the people, like if y'all understand these patriarchs in the Bible and y'all really understand Jesus, and you understand the disciples and what they go through, and the fact that all of the disciples eventually were beheaded, but they knew what their fate was, but they did it anyway. If y'all understand what Jesus really is, you can't say, well, why don't you be like Jesus if you don't understand who Jesus was and what his journey was?
do you think
You don't
Jesus?
understand why he spoke in parables, why he went into the temple in the first place.
Do you believe that Jesus is love?
I believe that Jesus is the word. It's the blueprint for how we should live our lives. And if you don't understand what his journey was and you never actually read it for yourself, then you're absolutely going to be misunderstood when you say some of the things that you say.
So if we are followers of Christ, are you saying we should say fuck the community and not help, or should we? Because the Bible, I guess, does both. They reach one, pick one up, and help another, right? We
No,
care
that's not
for
what it says.
outside of our own. So you
It
saying we should
said that
never
hell
help?
enlargeth itself. That's what it
So you
said.
saying we should never help people? We should just worry about ourselves.
It's not what I said. I
Oh.
said that the thing that you need to do is get the beam, not you particular, but you need to do is get the beam out of your own eye. The best way for you to help me is to help yourself.